Hey everyone, it's Mr. Sombarski here, and today I'm going to be showing you a bit of the basics on how to use Noteflight.com. So if you haven't already, open up your browser and type in Noteflight.com. And if you have not used it before, then you'll need to sign up free down here and click to use your Google. That way it'll use your school account and it'll be super easy to get logged in. Just click the consent form and it'll take you the rest of the way. Now, if you have signed up already, then just click the sign in button at the top right. And again, use Google. And we're in. Now, if it's your first time going in there, it will ask you a few questions about yourself. Just answer them as best as you can and label yourself a beginner. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Now, at the top left here, click the create button. It should be there for everybody. And yes, that's what we want. All right, and this is our first score. Now it starts us out with a piano score, but I'm going to be writing mine today for clarinet. So the first thing we're going to do is pick the correct instrument. So at the top here, the guitar symbol is for parts. Now you can add all kinds of parts for this. You can make a whole band using this program, but we're just going to stick with one. So click the pencil, and I'm going to change my piano to a woodwind clarinet. And then everything else here you can leave the same. Okay, now you'll see that there are two lines still, but I only need one. So if I click over on the left, it'll let me highlight the whole thing. I click delete or backspace on my keyboard, and now we're good to go. And I don't need this anymore. All right, now let's give it a title. Mine will be Trepak from the Nutcracker Suite. Composer is Tchaikovsky. Lyricist is whoever writes the words, so you don't need one for that, but I do have an arranger. And you can change the size of these words, but that's not what we're talking about today. I don't need this, so I can delete it, but if you did want to change it, then over on the 3 lines is where we can find pretty much everything that we would need. Now, because this is a free software to use online, they don't have quite as much as other programs would be that you pay for, but they do have paid features where you can get more. But it's really cool because you can have 10 scores for free on this website, and it's pretty user friendly. So we were going to be changing the tempo here. So I would go to the tempo ribbon, and then it would let me type in a new one. So now it's 130. But I don't need that, so I will delete it. And you see, for some reason, it added another, so you can just click to delete that one too. So let's continue getting it ready. Treble clef is right. I set it for clarinet already, but I'm not in 4/4. So I clicked it once, and it brings this up for me. I'm actually in cut time. Otherwise, you can change the top and bottom numbers here. So I'm good. It's in cut time. And now one last thing is my key signature is I have one flat for the clarinet. But watch out, because at the top here, their default is to be in concert pitch. If I want to make this correct so I can play it with the band, then I can change that. But if it's just for your own benefit, then it doesn't really matter whether that's on or off, just as long as whatever you're working with, this is correct. So now I can't click there, unfortunately. So I have to go over to my 3 lines again and find the key. Where are we at here? But the key is not in its own ribbon. If you have the measure tab up here, then you can see it's in the measure tab, or this measure tab. So the 3 sharps is what I'm looking for. And mine has 1 flat in the key of F. And hit the 3 lines to get rid of that. Yeah. Now, as you see here, I clicked F with 1 flat, but that is the concert pitch. So if I click concert pitch, then we're good. So like I said, you can leave it in that if you want, as long as you just leave it like that, unless you wanted to make a whole score or something. But for posterity, I will make it the correct key, which would be E flat. All right, now it's got my 1 flat, and we're good. Now, why did it have that? Okay. Now, as you saw, just by clicking, you can start to make a note. So my first note is an A, second space, but it's a half note. 2 ways that you can change it are up at the top in the duration ribbon, which you can get here. I can click to make it a quarter note. My next note is an F. You can click to make it an eighth note, because mine's an eighth note. Now, I like to use the keyboard a lot. I don't like to use the mouse so much when I'm working with this program, and any notation program. So there's always shortcuts. So if I wanted to make this F longer or shorter, I can press the button next to P on my keyboard. That will make it shorter. And the the button after that one, 2 over from P, will make it longer. Okay, so those 2 buttons next to each other with the brackets mean longer or shorter. And I need an eighth note. Now again, rather than doing E by clicking, which you could, I could have also typed E. Then my next note is an A. I use my shortcut to make it a quarter note. Alright, now I'm able to cruise if I'm using all the shortcuts, making the notes longer and shorter, and typing the letters on the keyboard, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, rather than clicking here. But whatever you'd like to do. So 3 more things I gotta show you. One is how to change the note. I'm using the arrow keys. If I just goofed up and accidentally clicked one note too high or low, I can use up or down to move that note. But if I wanted to go up or down by half steps, I would hold shift and then do it. Or if I have the pitch tab open from over here, then I can click whatever I need. And if I want to make it a whole octave, say I'm on flute and it starts everything low, I can press Control up and it'll make it a whole octave higher, or Control down, it'll make it a whole octave lower. So that's one thing, how to move that note around. The second thing is how to add measures. So you see there's little pluses here by each measure. So if I selected, up here and the measure bar, then it can let me delete that measure, or I can add a measure after it. Or the measure ribbon up here has pluses and minuses. And the third thing is how to save it. So the rule of working with programs and video games is save often. So I should save my work.